10 years ago, conversations about fame, privacy, and family felt very different because the consequences were easier to ignore. That contrast sits at the center of Desi Arnaz Jr.'s life story, a story that began the moment he was born into the brightest spotlight television had ever known. Desi Arnaz Jr. was born on January 19, 1953, the same day millions of Americans watched Lucy Ricardo give birth on I Love Lucy. It was not a coincidence but a carefully planned television event that blurred the line between entertainment and real life. From his first hours, cameras followed him. His crib was rolled onto soundstages for publicity photos, and strangers felt entitled to his image. As he later said, he felt less like a son and more like a prop in a national performance. To understand how that shaped him, it helps to understand his mother. Lucille Ball was born in 1911 in Celeron, New York. Her early childhood was marked by sudden loss when her father died of typhoid fever shortly after she turned 3. Her mother, needing to survive, left Lucille with grandparents while she worked. That early separation carved a deep longing for connection and stability that stayed with Lucille for life. Illness followed when Lucille was a child, leaving her bedridden for nearly 2 years with severe rheumatoid arthritis. During that time, silent films, especially Charlie Chaplin's, became her escape and unknowingly trained her into the physical comedian she would later become. Lucille left school at 15 to chase opportunity in New York, enduring long hours, rejection, and poverty. She pushed through modeling jobs, Broadway disappointments, and low-paying film roles. Hollywood labeled her the queen of the B-movies. But those years taught her timing, endurance, and discipline. She worked through injuries, served tirelessly at the Hollywood canteen during World War II, and eventually found success on radio with My Favorite Husband. That show opened the door to television, where I Love Lucy premiered in 1951, and changed the medium forever. By the time Desi Arnaz Jr. was born, his parents were not just stars, they were cultural institutions. The episode featuring Lucy Ricardo's childbirth drew more viewers than a presidential inauguration. Desi Jr. became famous before he could speak. While the country adored the image of a perfect family, the reality at home was far more complicated. His parents worked relentlessly, filming long days while nannies raised him. The attention never stopped and privacy never existed. As a child, Desi Jr. was pulled onto the show, appearing as a toddler in a Christmas episode. The lights, audience, and pressure overwhelmed him, and he cried on camera. That discomfort never left him. Instead of playgrounds, he spent time backstage at studios, doing schoolwork among costumes and props. By 5, he was witnessing intense arguments between his parents, watching their marriage unravel while millions laughed at their on-screen harmony. After Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz divorced in 1960, the tension only deepened. Desi Jr. was 7 and internalized the breakup as something he might have caused. Publicity demanded smiling family photos, even as lawyers fought over custody. His father's gambling and drinking worsened, and absences became common. The contrast between public perfection and private chaos shaped Desi Jr.'s sense of reality and trust. At 12, fame grabbed him again when he joined the band Dino, Desi, and Billy. Marketed as a teen idol group built from famous bloodlines, their success was immediate. Their single climbed the charts, fans screamed, and Desi Jr. worked grueling schedules meant for adults. He collapsed from heat exhaustion during a tour at 13 and was back on stage days later. The message was clear. The show always came first. Acting followed. As a teenager, he earned praise and even award nominations, but comparisons to his mother never stopped. Success felt hollow because it never felt like his own. School suffered, personal freedom vanished, and his identity became tied to expectations he never chose. Relationships became public property, and mistakes turned into scandals. By his late teens, drugs entered the picture. Hollywood parties normalized experimentation, and doctors handed out prescriptions for cash. What began as escape turned into dependence. Breakups, especially a highly publicized engagement that ended abruptly, sent him spiraling further. Car crashes, arrests, and quiet cover-ups followed, all meant to protect the family image. His 20s were marked by ambition and self-destruction running side by side. He continued acting, pushing himself physically and emotionally, often choosing intense roles that mirrored his own recklessness. Off-screen, substance abuse escalated. By 28, Doctors told him his brain scans looked decades older than his age. Depression closed in and he attempted suicide by overdose. Lucille Ball found him and begged him to get help. Recovery forced painful truths into the open. Therapy revealed how deeply his childhood had shaped him, especially his mother's habit of punishing through silence. Love often felt conditional, tied to performance and obedience. While Lucille loved her son, her drive, control, and obsession with image left little room for emotional presence. Over time, Desi Jr. stepped away from Hollywood's center. He declined roles that reopened old wounds and slowly built a quieter life. Moving to Nevada, he restored an old theater and turned it into a community space, something grounded and real, far from applause and gossip. Helping others became more meaningful than being seen. In later years, he spoke openly about his parents with honesty rather than bitterness. He acknowledged his mother's greatness and her failures, his father's warmth and his demons. His father's final words, "I love you, son," healed something that had been broken since childhood. Fame, he concluded, gave his family everything and nothing at the same time. Now in his later years, Desi Arnaz Jr. speaks to others struggling with addiction and identity. He urges people to choose family over legacy and love over image. His voice is calm, but it carries decades of pain and understanding. His life stands as both a warning and a guide, a reminder that behind the brightest lights are children who still need to be seen, not as symbols but as sons.